Lauren stood at the crossroads of desperation and determination. With 3 young children to care for and no source of income, she faced the harsh reality of single motherhood. Yet beneath the weight of her struggles burned an unshakable love for her family and a fierce desire to build them a better future. Day after day, she scoured newspapers and made countless phone calls, but every opportunity slipped through her fingers. The rejections piled up until she decided to take an unconventional approach. Walking into lawyer Brian Spencer's office, she made her case with raw honesty. She was intelligent, tireless, and willing to do whatever it took. He hired her. Lauren was unlike any other office worker Brian had employed. She spoke her mind freely, dressed casually, and brought an energy that clashed with the formal atmosphere. Her job involved organizing endless stacks of documents, work that quickly became monotonous for someone of her sharp intellect. To keep herself engaged, she began reading through the files as she sorted them. One afternoon, something caught her attention. Mixed among property documents for houses in a town called Ashwell were medical records belonging to the same families. The discovery felt wrong, like pieces of a puzzle forced into the wrong places. She dug deeper and uncovered that Southern Gas and Electric Company, a massive corporation known simply as SGC, was purchasing numerous properties near one of their facilities. But why were health documents buried alongside real estate paperwork? That night, sleep eluded her. Lauren wrestled with questions that grew heavier by the hour. She had her own family to worry about, her own problems that demanded attention. Yet something inside her refused to look away from what she had found. The next morning, she brought her concerns to Brian, and together they began investigating more thoroughly. As Lauren examined more files, a disturbing pattern emerged. The residents of Ashwell were suffering from serious illnesses at alarming rates. Yet SGC presented itself as a benevolent presence in their community, offering medical checkups and employment opportunities. Lauren decided she needed to hear directly from the people themselves. She traveled to Ashwell and knocked on doors, introducing herself not as a legal professional but simply as someone who cared. The residents warmed to her genuine interest and spoke openly about their lives. They praised SGC for making their water safe and supporting their town. But Lauren's instincts told her a different story was hidden beneath the surface. Working alone and relentlessly, Lauren contacted doctors, specialists, and anyone who might provide answers. Her persistence finally paid off when she uncovered the truth that SGC had been poisoning the water supply near Ashwell. The company, unwilling to spend money on proper waste treatment from their power plant, had allowed toxic chemicals to flow into the local water source. Now they were quietly buying properties to bury the evidence while people suffered and died. Lauren felt the weight of what she had discovered. She was nobody special, just a single mother working in an office. She had no legal training and no powerful connections. Yet she knew she was the only person who could fight for these families. She returned to Ashwell and listened to story after story of devastating illness. Children were sick. Parents were dying. Entire families lived under the shadow of diseases they never should have faced. With each conversation, her resolve hardened into something unbreakable. Brian understood the enormous risk they were taking. Fighting a corporation as powerful as SGC could destroy his small practice. They would earn nothing unless they won, and victory seemed almost impossible. Yet he saw the fire in Lauren's eyes and chose to believe in her. Together they would stand against a giant. The battle consumed more than 6 years of Lauren's life. She balanced impossible demands, caring for her children while working endless hours documenting cases and gathering evidence. Her face became familiar throughout Ashwell as she built trust with the community, always careful to keep her work hidden from SGC's watchful eyes. Her body ached with exhaustion and her mind strained under the pressure, but she pushed forward because she understood that lives depended on her speed and dedication. Finally, they were ready. From their modest office, Lauren and Brian filed lawsuits on behalf of 523 families against the corporate empire of SGC. It seemed like madness, but it was also their only chance at justice. When SGC received the legal notices, their lawyers immediately recognized the threat. They mobilized their resources, bringing in teams of expensive attorneys to crush the challenge. Brian knew he needed help, and other law firms joined the fight. But Lauren remained at the heart of it all. She knew these families intimately, understood their pain personally, and fought for them with everything she had. The courtroom filled with tension as both sides prepared for the final hearing. SGC executives sat rigid in their seats while Lauren's heart pounded with nervous hope. She thought of the faces in Ashwell, the children she had played with, the elderly who had welcomed her into their homes. When the judge delivered his decision, the room fell silent. SGC was ordered to pay £254 million to the victims, the largest settlement of its kind in British history. But the money was never what mattered most to Lauren. What mattered was that SGC stopped poisoning the water, that hundreds of lives were saved, that ordinary people proved they could stand up to the powerful and win. Lauren could have retired on her share of the settlement and never worked another day. Instead, she remained at Brian's firm, continuing to help common people fight against corporations that put profit above human life. She never became a lawyer, never changed who she was. She simply kept fighting, kept caring, kept saving lives with the same fierce love that had driven her from the beginning. And in doing so, she proved that true strength has nothing to do with money or power or position. True strength lives in the heart of someone who refuses to look away when others are suffering, someone who stands up even when standing up seems impossible, someone who fights not for themselves but for those who cannot fight alone.